Hello and welcome to Brodual. Today we have an interesting work in progress mod by the name of Character Behaviors Enhanced. This is a behavior and animation mod that enables new actions for your character and NPCs in Skyrim. These vary from minor tweaks to existing mechanics to entirely new mechanics that open up combat in interesting and new ways. 3 of the mod's biggest enhancements unlock combat in areas where you simply couldn't fight before. One of those is underwater, so if you're sick of the slaughterfish biting your ankles when you go for a swim, or you just fancy hunting some fish with a dagger, you'll want to grab the mod. It opens up right-handed combat, allowing you to either wield your favourite melee weapon, equip a spell, or even a shout, all underwater. You can't use your left hand for anything, but you can still wield two-handed weapons. You also can't use archery, cast ritual spells, or use a torch, which just makes sense. The mod isn't entirely realistic in how it handles underwater combat, and obviously the way certain spells react underwater doesn't really make sense, but we can bend our realism just a bit. However, we would like to see if it would be possible to slow down the swing speed of weapons, because I think that would be a nice contrasting effect as you switch from on land to underwater combat. What's great is that if you install the swimming enemies mod, you can continue fighting with other NPCs that chase you underwater. Normally NPCs would just stay away or find a way around, but swimming enemies makes them dive right in. And now they won't just swim after you, they'll actively try to fight you as well. This can lead to some pretty dramatic moments where on top of keeping track of your enemies, your health and trying to attack, you also have to make sure you simply don't drown mid-combat. The second of the big 3 features is mid-air attacks. This lets you swing your weapon, fire an arrow and even cast a spell all while in the air. This isn't entirely helpful during normal combat conditions, but it opens up some fantastic ways to initiate combat or escape death. If you're a heavy brute, you can find your way to a higher ground and launch a deadly surprise attack, slamming down and taking one of the enemies out before they even knew what hit them. And mages and archers can use new jump attacks to fire from behind cover. And the Dragonborn mid-air attacks can also potentially save your life. If you're about to plummet to your death from falling off the side of a mountain, you can quickly use the Become Ethereal shout to save you. The final of the big 3 features is mounted casting. Just as it sounds, the mod opens up magic casting while on horseback. Mounted combat was added in a later patch, but you're stuck using one-handed weapons or archery, which left out pure mages. Other mods have added a form of mounted casting in the past, but it was always limited and never fully animated. With Character Behaviors Enhanced, it's like it was added by Bethesda themselves. You can now cast any spell from your right hand, letting you burn your enemies in a 180-degree cone around you, or even summon your own undead horde as you ride on the back of Arvak. The rest of the mod's features aim to make combat feel more consistent and responsive. Some of them revolve around the ability to block under certain conditions. For example, the mod adds dual wielding blocking, letting you press both attack buttons down at the same time to block with your left-handed weapon, letting you block but not bash your enemies. Both the player and NPCs now also have the ability to block mid-stagger. 2 features that really help combat feel more responsive are the new feint and block and delayed forward power attack mechanics. With the new ability to feint attacks, you have a small window to cancel your attack mid-swing and smoothly transition into a block instead. So if you and an NPC strike at the same time, you can cancel your attack, block theirs and then counter successfully. The new delayed forward power attack feature is in a similar vein. You can now hold down the attack button to delay your power attacks, letting you choose exactly whether you want to fully commit to the attack or cancel it instead. Both of these features remove the forced commitment to most of your melee attacks, making combat feel much more smooth and responsive. The mod also adds a form of dodging, very similar to what we've shown many times in the past using TK dodge. It also enhances it by slowing down NPC movements to remove their impossible to dodge tracking ability. Again, very similar to what we've covered recently in our third-person combat overhaul video. However, these features are still useful since the mod isn't compatible with FNIS or any other mods that use FNIS, including all of the TK mods. This is due to how both mods work at their core, so there's no workaround, at least not yet. The author plans to eventually make a dynamic patcher to make the mod compatible alongside FNIS, and as a result pretty much every other animation mod out there. Altogether, Character Behaviors Enhanced is an ambitious attempt to expand on Skyrim's fairly limited combat mechanics. Right now there's still some major hiccups and animation glitches, but it's a work in progress and the author has plenty of plans for the future. We'd also love to see a modular version at some point in the future. As always, be sure to endorse the mod if you enjoy it and support the author wherever possible. Before we wrap up, we'd like to once again thank Rave for sponsoring this episode. Rave is an app for both Android and iOS that lets you watch synchronized videos with friends, regardless of where you are in the world. You can binge an entire series on Netflix perfectly synchronized, and even text or chat over voice at the same time. You can also watch videos on YouTube, Reddit and a bunch of other sources. It even supports VR. To get it today, you can find a link down below. And that's the end of today's Spotlight. Be sure to check out g2a.com and thanks for watching.